And I'll tell you why real quickly. We've got a number of people that are attempting to jump in here. We've attracted quite a bit of attention since Orlando, and with what you're going to see tonight, you'll understand why. But we're going to go ahead and record this and make it available. So we'll post the recording up for those who could not get on the call tonight or who are attempting to get on and are getting a message that we're full. I apologize. I'll work with GoToWebinar and GoToMeeting to get that corrected for our next one. But I wanted to walk you through this tool that we've developed called Kyani Social. And it started back in March with a meeting out in Idaho where we got to meet corporate staff, and we found the vision that we had as network marketers and also internet marketers match perfectly with Kirk and the founder's message and mission of merging two industries together, and that's network marketing and internet marketing. Without getting into a lot of detail in our background, because our time is short and I want to show you the tool, we've been able to take network marketing principles and make incredible amounts of income online on the internet. And we did it quite frankly, because my business partner, Todd Thompson, and I had a background in network marketing. And what happens when you apply those principles online is magic. And then we had a chance to kind of come the other direction and apply what we learned in internet marketing back into network marketing. And again, when you combine the two, it's literally magic. And our system is designed to help you do what you do anyway as a proper and good upline, as a good sponsor. Only it gives you a tremendous amount of leverage, and it takes some of the drudgery out of the recruiting process of building an organization. It never can and never will replace a human, but I think you'll see tonight where it will give you tremendous power to grow much more quickly than you have been growing. So without wasting any more of time on background, let me jump right into it, Stephen. And I'm going to go ahead and log in here. This is the back office at Kyani.net, obviously. And all you need to do is click on the Kyani Social icon right here, and it will take you over to the login screen. One thing to keep in mind is that the login you use here is the exact same login you use at Kyani.net. And so you enter your ID number and the same password and click login. And I know some of you on the line tonight have already become users of Kyani Social, and you would have noticed this the first time you logged in. It's actually a setup wizard that takes you through 4 steps to make sure the system is configured correctly. And this is great for brand new people because you don't have to remember to go to your settings tab and enter a bunch of information. It's going to walk you through the proper steps of getting everything right the first time. So you enter in your country, your language, you hit continue, your email addresses, how you want to be contacted, and your Skype address. You hit continue again, your cell phone number and your carrier, and it will create text message alerts for you. And then the 4th step here is actually a walkthrough video of the entire system. So everybody that starts with Kyani Social will get a basic walkthrough as their 4th step in the wizard. And then you go ahead and click Save Your Settings, and it takes you to the main dashboard. And this is really the heart and soul of your recruiting process and the recruiting side of your Kyani business. Inside Social, you'll see that at the top, we've got 4 different gauges here. And think of this like a dashboard on a car, or more likely a fighter jet. It shows you how many new signups you have. It shows you how many new prospects you have for the week. It shows you how many Facebook invitations you have this month. And I'll explain a little more detail about that in just a second. And also how your websites are performing overall, how many visitors you've had, and then how many opt-ins or what turns into leads in Kyani Social. Below that, you see an integrated calendar, and this is where all of your appointments are going to be in green for your follow-ups with your prospects. Also in red here, you see that corporate can go ahead and push out a calendar event like our international convention we just had in Orlando. So it's dynamic, and it's also connected to the parent company. In the campaign section here, you can see how your individual marketing efforts are performing against one another. So for instance, is LinkedIn working better than Twitter, or is Google Plus working better than Facebook? You'll be able to see that very clearly right here. Below that, we've got a United States map in this case of your distributors. And you can also go to a world map. And this gives you a graphical view of people you've personally signed up. So for instance, if I want to look here in Colorado, I can click on this name and that brings up my business partner, Todd. There's his information, and you can quickly look and see where your downline is located. And this comes in handy when you're planning local meetings. And then overall, you can see the performance of your site over time down here in the bottom. So what we wanted to do on the dashboard is give you a quick glimpse at your entire business and entire marketing effort and how your prospecting is going. Next, like anyone, the first thing we want to do if we want to sponsor somebody is invite them to take a look at the business or the product. We do that over here on the left where the main navigation is by clicking on invite. And it'll bring up a new screen. And in this case, we've got two different specially coded URLs. One that leads your prospects down a presentation about the product, and the second, a presentation about the business. So you can choose whichever one you like based on how you want to approach your prospect. But let's take a look at the business opportunity presentation for now. If you were to send this link out, and this link can be used anywhere, it can be used in an email, it could be used online, it could be used on a business card. Anywhere where someone can click a link, you can use this. And this is what your prospect sees. I'm going to hit the test button next to that link. And the next thing you'll see is a video with Kirk.
You know what Starbucks, IKEA, and Apple have in common?
And this is what we call a teaser video. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause this, but this video is 2 minutes long. And it's designed to give your potential prospect just enough information to get them interested so that they enter their information here on the right to find out more. They can do that in two ways. They can either hit the connect with Facebook button, in which case they're automatically redirected with one click and they see the next video in the series. Or just like a traditional opt-in form, they can go ahead and become a lead here. So let's assume that we're going to go ahead and that our prospect in this case is Stephen Hatch, and we'll come up with a fake email address for him here. So I'm going to go ahead and opt in Stephen as a prospect. And one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to hold up next to my microphone, my cell phone, and then I'm going to click Get Instant Access. When I do, the screen will refresh. And that beep you just heard was my cell phone. And it just went off and said, you have a new prospect, Stephen Hatch. And it gave me his phone number right there on my cell phone. What you're seeing here in front of you is the main presentation video. And this is a 12-minute long video that talks about the product. It talks about the company. It talks about the income and compensation plan and the training. It also talks about the system that we use to recruit and prospect. And normally, you would not see this green button here right away. We've got it set to go on instantly for tonight's demo. But normally, this button wouldn't appear until 12 minutes from now, until the video was over. The reason being, we want Stephen, in this case, our sample prospect, to sit here and watch the video until the very end. We don't want him clicking away and going to do something else until he's finished watching the full presentation. All this is done on purpose so that we know that prospect has got a complete set of information in front of them before they take the next step and see the next video in the series. I'll explain that in just a minute. But back here on the invitation tab, now we've got that first way to invite a prospect. And I'll come back to what the prospect sees in just a minute. But again, we can invite them to take a look at the product first. And there's a video that talks about the Kyani product line. And then they have the opportunity to ask more information and opt in. We also have some built-in social sharing functions that make it very easy for you to prospect and very leverage for you to prospect your warm market and what I call your lukewarm market. A lot of us know that our friends on Facebook, for instance, aren't people that we go have dinner with every week or that we hang out with on a regular basis, but that we know socially or that we know through business or have met, and we maintain that kind of online social media friendship. That's where some of your best prospects are going to come from. So what we've done here is we've built in automated functions for Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter. And when I say automated, you'll notice that there's a link here. And it's very similar to the link up here at the top. Each one of these links, by the way, has your unique URL name that's also the same as your Kyani.net site. Then it has kyaniviral.com and then a /. Well, You'll notice this one has a /Facebook, one has LinkedIn, one has /G+ for Google+, and Twitter. Those track the performance of the campaign by having that extra little bit at the end of the URL. But we've automated all this, so you don't need to worry about any of that. You can just come in here and push a few buttons to invite. We want to make this as absolutely simple as possible for a new rep. So if, for instance, I just want to put a post up on my Facebook wall. I click on the share button, and it brings up immediately what you see is a pre-formatted message, meaning that I don't have to type anything. I don't have to think of what to say. More importantly, your new prospect or your new rep that just signs up today doesn't know or have to know what to say. They can simply come in and use the tools, and there's already a nice attention-grabbing photo here and a coded link and a headline that says who wants a passive income of $2,153 per month. It's linked back to your new rep's website. Then it says watch a short video revealing an unknown secret. And when I hit share, it would post this on my wall. Now, I'll tell you that that's pretty common, and you'll see that a lot, especially with network marketers. They'll post a lot of things to their wall. So I don't recommend you do this very often. This is something you want to do for sure when you first start out in the business, and maybe occasionally put a post up. But it's not something you want to do every day, certainly. And I'll tell you why in just a second. Let's go ahead and hit cancel. What you would want to do, though, is invite your friends from LinkedIn. If you use LinkedIn, let me show you how that looks. If I click on the button next to the LinkedIn tool, let me bring this up. Again, lost my window here. There it is. You see a pre-formatted message with an image, the same headline. And with LinkedIn, what's unique is you can come down here and click on send to individuals. And then let's say that I wanted to start sending to my prospect list inside LinkedIn. I can start to type in Stephen. Well, there's my friend Stephen Kane. I can type in another Stephen. I get Steve Sherman. I can start to type the letter C, and I get Jamie Chung, Kurt Christensen. In LinkedIn, it's very easy to come along and just type the first letter of someone's name, and it brings up a list of those people, and I can include each one. What happens next is interesting. This message is going to go from my LinkedIn account to the LinkedIn account of those contacts I have, meaning that there's no email involved here, meaning the 100% of the people that I send this invitation to get the message. Unlike email, where only about 7% of the people that you send an email to ever get the email, make it through the spam folder, and open that email and read it, 100% of the people, in this case, see your message and your invitation to come take a look. Let's close out of that, and I'll show you one more here. We've got a pre-formatted tweet. We heard about Twitter at the convention this weekend, so that makes it very easy to just push a button and share that through Twitter. But we also have the same through Google+, which is an up-and-coming social sharing tool. And with Google+, the same type of thing happens. You see here a pre-formatted message. This time it's a different picture because the pictures rotate and the headlines and message rotates so that you're not sending the same thing all the time. You can add a personalized comment once again, and then you can come down here by either email address, or you can scroll down and pick a specific circle of friends. So I hit that particular circle of friends that has 8 people in it, and I hit a button, and all 8 people, once again, will get the message. It's a very leveraged, simple tool to come and just click buttons and share with your social media friends. Now, let's move on to the most powerful invitation tool that we have. It's called the Facebook Inviter. And I'm going to click on this green button here and wait just a second as the screen redraws. By the way, that cha-ching you just heard was the fact that I have a new lead. Our system knows that I just entered that lead for Stephen, our demo prospect for the night. But when I click on the inviter, it brings up this screen. Now, our Facebook Inviter is absolutely unique. There's nothing like it in the industry. And what this does, the first time you authorize this tool, it'll go import a list of all of your contacts from Facebook, all of your friends. In this case, it imported 1,060 friends right out of my Facebook account. In here, you see a picture of each one of my friends. Next to it, you see an invite button and their name and what country they're in. So let's say that I want to send an invitation to my friend David Eisner here. So I click on the invite button right next to his picture. It turns into a green sending button. And then once again, it brings up a pre-formatted message. Now, right now, I've done a few demos today on this, and this is a cached message, so it's not the proper format. It would have a different image and URL and headline here. I need to reset my screen, but I can type in, again, a personalized message to David and tell him, hey, David, you really ought to check this video out. There's two industries merging together, and I think we can take advantage of it. Give me a call once you watch the short video, or I'll give you a call. You personalize it and hit send. When you do, I'm not actually going to invite David at this moment, but this would say message sent. Now, here's the advantage of this. If you have 1,000 friends in Facebook, and granted, they're lukewarm friends, we don't hang out with them every weekend, but it would be impossible for you to track who you've invited to take a look at your business and who you didn't if you were going to systematically invite them one at a time. What the system here allows you to do is create a virtual prospect list out of your Facebook friends, and it's going to keep track for you all the people that you've already invited to take a look. So you know each day when you come in and make invitations to people that you're not sending the same message to them over and over again, being a bad social media friend. You're going to do this correctly by sending them one invitation. Now, here's the cool thing. Each of the people you invite will get the message. Again, it's a one-to-one communication. It's not a broadcast. So when I send that message to David, it goes from my Facebook account to his, and I know 100% of the time he's going to see that message. And he has a chance to take a look at the Kyani products or opportunity and say either yes or no. And I know that I'm not going to bother David because I'm not going to invite him more than once accidentally. We also have the ability here, if you really don't like somebody, you can give them the thumbs down and then you'll never see them again. What's also genius about this system is that each day, every time you log in a 24-hour period, the system's going to go look and see if you've got any new friends. Because obviously, tomorrow I might have 1,070 friends. If I'm out there constantly building my social media presence and adding new friends and becoming acquaintances with new people, that number's going to change and grow. Well, our system keeps up with that. And you can even search by your friend's name. So if I want to search all the people named Todd, it brings up all my Todd friends. And there's my business partner, Todd Thompson. You can see he's already came back and joined. He's a member. So again, it tracks your entire social media prospecting for you. Makes it very easy and push button simple. And what we recommend is that you come in each day and you click on 10 invites next to 10 friends' pictures and send those out, and then go brush your teeth for the day. Your prospecting's finished. If you do that for a month, you will have invited 300 people to take a look. And keep in mind, all 300 will get the message the next time they log into their Facebook account. When they do, if just 1% click through and join your business, you've got 3 distributors. Now, if you do that in your first month as a brand new rep in the United States, you also get your fast start bonus. And that covers the startup cost at the end of our funnel. So you've got what we call in the internet side a self-liquidating offer, meaning people realize there's a way for them to get their initial startup cost back very quickly by coming in and doing something simple each day, like clicking on 10 friends and inviting them to take a look. So now we've kind of covered the inviting process. I want to show you one more cool feature we just added. When you do invite somebody, they can come back and take a look at the Kyani opportunity in a number of different ways. One of the things that in our test market people asked for was the ability to make their websites look different. So I just clicked on a button called landing pages. And now I can scroll through and choose any one of these designs that I want my prospects to see when they come take a look at the business opportunity. We'll shortly be adding additional designs for the product presentation as well. And we can also show the Kyani opportunity inside someone's Facebook account. So imagine this. You send them a link in Facebook to take a look at the opportunity. They click on that link, but they never leave their Facebook account. Instead, let me show you what they see. I'm going to click on the test link here, and it's going to open up a new page inside my Facebook account. I'm logged into Facebook, and what starts to play is the actual presentation video. It's the same one that my prospect sees over here. So whether you send what we call a static web page, or if you send them a link to watch this in Facebook, either way, they see the same basic presentation. Now, there's a couple cool things if you do have them watch this inside their Facebook account. As a prospect, they might be interested enough to share, and they have sharing features across the top if they're interested in what they're watching. and they can bring in viral traffic or additional prospects that are coded back to you. And down here underneath the presentation, this is a real-time live attendance box. See, there's my picture. I'm scrolling over right now because I just clicked the link. So it knows I'm watching the presentation along with these other people who have come in before me. And this builds what we call social proof. It shows that this is a viable, active, interesting opportunity for people, and lots of people from different walks of life are taking a look. And it gives your prospect the feeling of, hey, this is something I might want to take a serious look at and join. Well, let's close that and come back and show you what happens once somebody does enter and watch one of your videos. I've now clicked on the Prospects tab in Active Leads, and the first thing you see here is Stephen Hatch. So he's our test lead for tonight. I have his email address, his phone number. The system automatically knows where he lives, what part of the country, or what country he's in. And then it starts to track his activity. Now notice here that there's a box, and you may not be able to see this on the webinar, but there's 8 little dots here, and each one of these represents an email. It sent an email to this address and said, Stephen, thanks for taking a look at our opportunity. Is there any questions I can answer for you? Please get back in contact with me. Then, over a period of the next 7 days, it's going to send an email a day with a success story of one of the top Kyani reps in the United States. You can see here what message that Stephen's on. He's about ready to get message number 2. And when someone opens one of these emails, those little red dots turn green. There's Dan Swindell. I know Dan's on the call taking a look tonight. And if I roll over email number 5, it shows Dan opened that email, and he opened it 1 time. If Dan would have opened that email more than once, you'd see when you scroll over how many times he opened the email. And you see Dan here is queued up to get message number 6 tomorrow. We designed this, and it's kind of like a Christmas tree. It's got a lot of color to it, but when you look at your prospect list, you can focus on where the activity is by who's got the most color. And you'll notice here, some of the older test leads we've been running have this progress bar across the top. The red indicates that they watched the first video, they've made it past that teaser video with Kirk on it, and now they've watched the main presentation. If they show the yellow video, the yellow bar means that they've watched the following video, what we call a positioning video. I'll explain what that is in just a second. But so the more this progress bar moves across, the more interested your prospect is. In this case, we can also see that this prospect attended a webinar, and that'll make sense to you in just a second when I show you our presenter system. We can see where the prospect came from, whether they came from a webinar, a Facebook invite, like I showed you a second ago, or they might have come from Twitter or LinkedIn or one of our other sources. So now you can tell which marketing activity is producing the most prospects. And then you can also see, in this case, the initial visit, the date and time the prospect first came, just like you can here with our lead with Stephen. But this green bar tells you, hey, this is a return visitor. They came back more than once. They're looking at this over and over again. You should really get on the phone and follow up because they're probably interested. The more color you see in our tracking system, the more hot your prospect is and the more attention you should pay. And because of the way we set up these online funnels where a prospect goes through step by step, watching a series of videos, at the end of that, we actually give them the opportunity to go ahead and make themselves a distributor right there on the spot. When they do, I'm going to do a quick search here. You'll see, like this lead here, Jeff King actually watched the first video and the second video and the final video and became a rep. He bought the executive startup pack and he's on auto ship. You also see that he's completed the email series. But if I scroll over here, it shows that he opened email number 1 2 times, email number 2 5 times. So this person made themselves a rep before I could even get on the phone with them. And that will happen occasionally. Not the normal, but it will happen occasionally here. And the way that happens, if I come back to this main presentation video, this is now, again, what the prospect would be watching. When they are finished with this, there's a button that pops up at the end normally that says click here to get started. When they do, they're taken to one more video. This is the third video. It's what we call the positioning video. Now notice the sponsor information popped up right here at the bottom. So if they have questions, they can get back in touch with you. They can click on the Skype chat if they have Skype and you've configured that in your back office and ask questions are online or over the phone, or they can actually answer a survey and tell you what they think about what they've seen so far. But what this third video is designed to do is a couple of different things. Number one, it explains to them a little bit about Kyani's compensation plan and how they get started and start to create their first few promotions. In this case, it shows them very easily how to earn that fast start bonus by becoming a Jade in their first 30 days. They do that by buying a startup pack with 500 QV themselves and sponsoring 3 people who also buy a startup pack with 500 QV. And it shows an example that if they do that in their first 30 days, that they will qualify as a Jade. The second thing this video does, and I stopped it on this screen to show you, it actually shows using that Facebook Inviter tool. The reason we show a prospect this that's not yet a distributor is it answers an unspoken objection. You see, they really want to know one thing that they never ask, and that is, if I sign up, what will I be doing tomorrow? How am I going to build this business? And we show it's as easy as logging in once a day, clicking on 10 friends, and then going to brush your teeth and going on with your day until your cell phone goes off telling you you've got a hot lead. When we show them that that's how simple and straightforward it can be, it takes that fear away from them to say yes. And when they finish this video also explains the advantages of positioning in the compensation plan with a larger startup order. Now, specifically with Kyani Social, when they do click to get started, let me show you what they see. Instead of the normal 3 choices, when they go into an enrollment form, and I'm not going to go past this because I don't want to enroll Steven back into the company, but when they go to the normal enrollment form, you'll see 3 startup packs. Well, in Social, there's 2. We have a smaller pack for $2.99, and then a larger pack called the Executive Pack for $5.99, and that carries with it 500 QV. The reason that's important is simply by purchasing that and sponsoring 3 people that do the same thing, they can become Jade and get that fast start bonus and recover in that $600 bonus their startup cost. Well, because it's 500 QV, we give that example in that third video and show them logically how they would do that by simply coming in and inviting 10 people a day. At the end of the month, they've invited 300 people. If just 1% say yes, then they've achieved their goal of sponsoring 3. And that goes back to, on the dashboard here, you see one of the goals we set up was 3 new distributors. In this case, there's 8, so they've exceeded that. But we want to help that new rep get to 3 right away so they get that bonus. Okay, now let's go back and show a couple other features, and then I want to show you one of our last advanced features. So look at this lead here again, our sample lead for Steven, and we've got at the very right-hand column, it's called actions. There's certain things I can do when I'm managing my prospect list. And let's assume now that Steven doesn't sign himself up, that he's going to wait for me to call or he's got a few questions. So a few things I can do here. And I'll just mention this. I can hide Steven if I've talked to him and he's not interested. So I can remove the uninterested people from my list. I can edit his information if he gives me a better email address or, let's say, a second phone number he'd rather be contacted at. Or I can go in and add notes. And this is typically what you're going to do when you get on the phone with your prospect and you start to answer their questions. Let's say I've got all his questions answered now, but that he can't sign up yet. Let's say that he gets paid on Wednesday of next week, the 29th. So I pull up a calendar, I click on Wednesday the 29th, and we plan a call where I'm going to call him at 10 a.m. And I put a little note here, call to sign up on payday. And I save the appointment. Now in Steven's record, it shows this appointment right here, Wednesday, January 29th at 10 a.m. That's when I'm supposed to call him. Now that's great, except how are you going to remember to call right at that time? Well, a couple of things. Let's go back to the dashboard. Now you notice on the 29th, this wasn't here before. It says call to sign up on payday. That's the appointment I just set with Steven. And the system is smart enough to remember to send you a text message an hour before this appointment. And it's going to say, you've got an appointment with Steven today at 10 o'clock. You'll log back in your system, and right here on your interactive calendar, you just click on that appointment, and it takes you right back to Steven's record where you can call him and, again, answer any questions or get him signed up. You can also add a note for Stephen, and it will track your entire communication history. If I could spell, it would be better, but it will track all the different things that you've talked about with this prospect. So you'll never wonder what you said last time you spoke to him on the phone. Let's go back to the lead list again. Now notice under the date column, there's the appointment we just set for next Wednesday, the 29th. It's now part of his record. There's a lot of other features here we could talk about sorting leads. You can show the leads that you've hidden. You can pull leads up just by the ones you have appointments with. And then over here, there's a lot of other sorts. Like for instance, if we invite somebody to a webinar, we can pull just the webinar registrations. We can look at just the people that opened the emails in the follow-up series. And there's a number of other ways that you can sort your lead list. Or you can actually search. So if I start to come up here and type in Jeff, it's going to give me all the Jeffs very quickly right off my list. And let me show you what happens when they do get their emails. What we've done is created a series of emails, again, that go out once a day. And here you see one in the middle of your screen. Here, this one's about Angel, and it tells his story. What we've done is create a little curiosity at the top of the email about Angel's story, and then there's a picture of the video here of what they'll see when they click on it. And then at the end, it asks them, hey, go ahead and take a look at the video, and then let's get started. You can get started right from the next page. It's got the sponsor's information, and then at the very bottom, it teases the fact that there's another video coming tomorrow with another great story, and it continues to build what we call social proof. Over and over again, your prospects are going to see successful Kyani distributors who've achieved something from nothing. It's some of the greatest stories we have on video. And let me show you what happens when they click in their email. They're taken to a new page.
Growing up as a kid, my parents, they had me at a young.
And there's Angel's story. At the bottom, you'll see the sponsor information pop here. And when they click on the Get Started button, of course, it takes them to the page to become a new rep. If at any time they want to go back, they can go through all of the different testimonial videos that have come during that week. They can also go back and look at the 3 videos that were in the original series they watched, or the opportunity video. So your prospect gets continually re-engaged with some successful stories, and this will convert. It also has a high click-through rate because in that email we show a picture of a video with a play button on it, and that's proven to get people to click on the picture. And then they get to see short videos, usually 2 to 3 minutes, again, of a success story. So now let's go back and show you what happens. Let's say you have a brand new rep that you've just sponsored, or you're brand new, and it's your first day in the business, and you want to go ahead and tell all your friends about this. So you don't know much. You come in and you click on 10 Facebook invites like I showed you. Very simple, very easy. You don't even have to think about what to say on the invitation. But what happens if you've got a new prospect and they're interested, and you get them on the phone, and the first thing they're going to have is a bunch of questions that you may not have the answer to? What happens if you can't get your sponsor on the phone with you for a 3-way phone call? How are you going to get their questions answered? Well, this again is a fear that a lot of your new reps have. They just never tell you. So we've worked around that by creating what we call the one-on-one presenter system. And now what I want to do is move my screen around a little bit here so I can demonstrate this to you. Shrink this window down. And on the left, I'm going to pretend that I'm the sponsor, again, getting Steven's questions answered. And on the right, we're going to see what Steven sees on his computer. So here's how the phone call would go. I call Steven up. We talk for a little bit. I say, interesting video. What questions can I answer for you? And Steven's like, well, I'd really like to know a little bit more about the company and a little bit more about the founder and maybe a little about the compensation. And then I think I might be ready to say yes. Well, Steven, are you by your computer? Yes, I am. Great. Well, hold on one second. And I come into my lead list for Steven's lead and I click on one-on-one. And I'm going to set up a private one-on-one webinar directly from within the system with my prospect, Steven. I create the webinar by clicking on a button. It says send this email. I click on one button and it automatically pre-formats an email and sends a special link over to Steven. So we're on the phone together chatting and I say, okay, I just sent you an email with a link. Go ahead and click on it. And I'm just going to copy and paste that to demonstrate it here. this is what Stephen would see on his screen, on his computer. Now in Orlando, we demonstrated this on 2 different computers where, and Dan did it one night where he was walking around with a tablet actually. And then the next day, Stephen did it on a laptop, and he was walking around and he logged in, and all he has to do is put his email address in. So let's use that fictitious email that we set up for him here. And I'll show you what he sees. It says private webinar for Stephen Hatch. Webinar starts Wednesday, January 22nd, right now, 8:37. Make sure your computer speakers are turned on. Then I log in as the sponsor on the left, and here's what I see. The same thing. You also see here in the middle, it might be a little small, but it shows that Stephen is logged in, and I can actually send him an email right from the dashboard. But what you're looking at on the left is a control panel. It's a simple push button system where even a brand new rep will have all the answers. And the way that works, Stephen said he wanted to know more about the founder. So I'm on the phone with Stephen. I say, well, are your computer speakers turned up? Yes, they are, Scott. Great. Well, let's go meet Kirk Hansen. And on the left, I click on the little icon here for Kirk Hansen.
Do you know what Starbucks, IKEA,
And it brings up Kirk's video.
do you know what Starbucks, IKEA, and Apple have in common?
And it also brings up Kirk's video for Stephen.
By others for years.
He sees whatever I push on the left. And we've preloaded the system with answers about the founders, the family, the products, the compensation plan, getting started. And so I can cycle through these and say, well, did that answer all your questions about the founding family or about the founder itself? Let's learn more about the founding family. And then I click on this button.
Kyani.
My video changes and his video changes.
Kyani. What an amazing success story.
If you understand the power of this, you've just made your brand new rep, your brand new distributor, just as professional a presenter as anyone else in the company by giving them pre-recorded assets here on the left where they just simply click through when their prospects have answers. Here's what's really great. We can do testimonials, you'll see down here. We can even do optional videos or videos that you upload yourself. If you have some particular content that's okay with Kyani to use to show your prospects, you can do that. But the real power of this system is, unlike GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, at the end of a webinar, if you had 200 people on a webinar, following up with all of them and getting them back on the phone with you to actually sign up and go to the correct link, if you were able to do it, would take days, if not longer. And some you may never be able to get back. What if you could sign them up on the spot? What if, again, I'm on the phone with Stephen and I say, did that answer all your questions? Well, yeah, it did, Scott. Sounds pretty good. What's next? Well, hold on. And I come over here and on my dashboard, I press the Join Now button. And here's what Stephen sees. He sees the Get Started Now button on his browser, on his computer. And I'm like, well, Stephen, all you need to do is click the Get Started button and it will take you right into the sign up process. When he does, again, I'm pushing that screen out to his computer. That button is coded back to me, the sponsor, and there's the 2 choices he has to go ahead and get started, either the executive pack or the basic pack. And it's all coded in the background so that he ends up in my holding tank. Now I don't have to worry about chasing down my prospect or, yeah, send me the link by email or how do I get started? I simply say, click on your screen. This is by far one of the most powerful things we've ever introduced, and it allows you to sponsor people seamlessly right over the phone, just as if you were sitting in front of them face to face and doing a one-on-one. Let me go ahead and close that, and I'll finish out with a couple other items, and then we're going to take a few questions, I think. Let me go back to the dashboard here and show you a few other things. We built in an internal messaging system, and first of all, if you're like me, you're really tired of email. No one needs more email, but what you want is your downline and all their prospects focused. You want the people in your organization focused on their county business. One way to do that is to communicate with them inside the system. And I can come here and click send and send a message to, in this case, let me send a message to Todd. And as I start to type his name, it brings up a list of names of people in my organization named Todd. And I just put a subject line. Notice it didn't put an email address up here. It just brought his name up. And that's so that there's no loss of information. You don't have to worry about privacy issues or people farming names from your downline. This is very private. And let's just put a test message in here and see how this works. A test on Wednesday night. And I'm going to just click send over to Todd. Now it'll say one message successfully sent. And one of the things I didn't point out, when you first log in your system across the top, number one, it shows your rank up here at all times, the highest rank achieved. And we pull that right out of Kyani's system. So you constantly see your rank there. But over here, there's a message notification system. And whenever you have a broadcast message from corporate, it'll appear here. But whenever you have a message from your upline or downline, it appears right here. And I can click over here and go back and look at the conversation between Todd and myself. And there's Todd's picture. So the other nice thing is when I do get a new message, which he just replied, I think he's watching right now. There's his reply to the test message I just sent. When he does reply, I get a text message on my phone. Nobody's going to absolutely remember to log in every few minutes. So one of the things our system does is it alerts you that you've got a new message and it's time to come back in and check what's going on. And here's what's really cool. If you want to communicate with your entire team, if you click send and you start to type in the word all, now I can broadcast a message to everyone on my team. So if I've got an event coming up or a webinar or some special information or news that I need to share with everybody quickly, I can send it to all of my personally sponsored team members all at once. They'll each get a text message alerting them to log in and read that message instantly. It makes it very important in their eyes as opposed to just email that might be lost amongst everything else. There's two other things I want to show you quickly. We have an expanded version of your calendar. So there's more room when you start to get lots of appointments to look at it, and you can drill down to the week or even the day. But here's a really nice feature to be able to see what's going on inside your organization. This is called the My Team. In the My Team tracker, when you expand all here, it's going to show you your entire sponsor tree down 10 levels, all their pictures and names. And then it's going to show you how many Facebook invitations they've sent out, how many prospects they have, how many signups they have. It's going to show you the last time they logged into the system. So now for your team members that use the tool, you know who's active. It's green if they're active, it's red if they're not, and it has their phone number right there. So you know if they haven't logged in a few weeks, it's probably a good time to give them a call and find out why they haven't been doing their prospecting. But you never really have to make that call. There's something subtle that happens here. Because you can see your downline, they're going to be able to see their downline as well. And instantly they realize that you're going to see how many people they've been inviting and prospecting. And if it's a good number, they'll be proud of it. If it's not a good number, they will get busy because they know you're watching without ever having to manage that. We also have some really advanced features I won't get into, but I'll just mention. One is lead rotation. So if you do any marketing campaigns, you can rotate leads between anybody on your team with a simple drop-down list. We've got a training section where all the videos that teach you how to use this system are. And then you can go back and change any settings you need at any time. And with that, it looks like we're at about 45 minutes. I want to go ahead and open it up to questions. I think, Stephen, I'll make you unmuted here if you're not already. Yeah, it looks like you're still live. If anybody has a question, go ahead and type that in the chat box down on the right. You should see that. And Stephen, if you would pick out a few of those that you've already received, and we'll try to get those answered for people. Or if you have a few questions you know that might be on their mind, we'll go ahead and answer those now.
You bet. You know, the first one, Scott, that I want to bring up from this list is training. You mentioned that there's some training available, but I believe you also have something that's pretty cutting edge and very intuitive when it comes to training. Somebody new coming into the system, how are they going to get up to speed and functional in this system quickly?
Great question. There's several answers to that. The first, as I showed, every new rep's going to see that welcome video that gives them a basic walkthrough so that they are comfortable enough to get in and click around. And here's what happens when they do. Let me go back to the dashboard here. You'll notice that on each one of these sections, there's a little black icon that looks kind of like a video camera. There's one for the appointment calendar. Here's one for campaigns, one for the traffic screen, one for the map. And when they come in and click on these, it's going to open up a new window. And right here, it says training video coming very soon. Well, in the next 2 to 3 days, each one of these little black video icons will lead to a new video. We're actually changing the way that they pop up on the screen a little bit. But there'll be a short 2 to 3 minute video, for instance, that teaches them how to use the appointment calendar. There'll be a short 2 to 3 minute video that teaches them how to track their campaigns correctly. And so anywhere they are in the system, let's say they go to the invitations area, if they want to know how to use these URLs, again, they click on the video icon, and then there's additional video training. So that's the second way they find out. The third way will be trainings like this. We will be having multiple live and recorded, we'll make recordings of them. We'll post those in the back office in the training section here so that they can go back and review specific trainings on strategy, on how to use the system, best practices, and some of the successes people are having. We'll continue to do those on a regular basis.
That's fantastic. Scott, I did have one follow-up question on that. We do have an individual who subscribed for the service, and they would like to go back and watch that new video again. They've watched it once, they'd like to see it again, and maybe even again. Is there an easy way to go back to that initial video and watch that?
Well, one thing I will tell you, and this is no excuse by any means, the training tab right here, later tonight, we'll have that welcome video link, as well as all the other videos that get loaded up. The reason you're seeing a lot of blanks now in the videos, there's two reasons. I went just before Orlando, I lost my voice, and I even was having an issue with it when we were presenting this in Orlando. So being unable to narrate the training videos was an issue. And then I had some personal family and medical emergencies the minute I landed, and we just got that handled today. So I will be recording over the next several days those short training videos, but you can always come back here to the training tab. And tonight you'll actually see the link for the first one that was in what we call the wizard. So you can go through that as many times as you like. And we'll also post this replay from tonight's recording in the training section as well. And anytime we do a training, this is where you'll find all the past training links to those videos or conference calls. And there will be many as we build the system out.
Excellent. I'm really scrubbing through a lot of questions. There's a lot of wonderful questions. One is a question about language. Is this a multi-language support tool?
That's a great question, and let me show you the answer. I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. Now, I will tell you that we've added just in the last a couple of weeks about a dozen new features, and anytime we do, sometimes there's a word that wasn't previously translated. But if you come up here to the right in the top section and scroll over language, you see a drop down with all these different flags. So all you need to do is come down and pick your country of choice. And let's see, let me pick a good one here. Let's go to German. So I click Dutch, and you'll notice now that most of these have automatically been changed over into German. The ones that have not, as you know, Stephen, we're in the process, again, of those new features, getting the additional words transferred over. But that will be something that's done very shortly. But the majority of them are instantly translated. So it's nice. You can bounce back and forth between English, Spanish, any of, I believe, 18 languages now, soon to be 20.
Great. And then just a clarification point on that, that just changes the language in the system itself, correct? That will not change the content if content is not currently available. A video, for example, if it is not available in a specific language, it will feed English. Is that correct?
That's correct. Now, what you know, as you know, what we did in Europe, we produced a lot of the assets, the follow-up emails and the videos in multiple languages. And based on the language selection of the user, they will push out the invitations. Now, when the person's invited, let's say that person wants to see the information in Spanish. They can select as early as that first page they land on which language they prefer to watch the videos in. And if they are translated into Spanish, in this case, they'll see a Spanish version of the presentations. Where the languages are not yet translated, we've got a master calendar where we're in the process of adding all of these different languages you see here for all the video assets, as well as the follow-up emails and the back office language.
Excellent. Another question here for you. How would a prospect be able to see my distributor ID if they want to sign up before I can call them?
That's the beauty of this. They never have to. When I let me go back to the invite tab here and show you what I mean. This link inside social, in one respect, is carrying your ID along with it because it uses your specific, what we call site name. So my site name isn't a real name, it's TYOS. but let's say it's scott.kyaniviral.com. Our system knows based on that unique link, only one person can have scott.kyaniviral.com. It knows my ID number and it's connected to the database at Kyani. And those, by the way, all of this is located on Kyani servers. It's all secure, it's all safe. And we use an API, is what it's called, to transfer data back and forth. But we only pull out small pieces of data, just enough to tell social who to sign up the person underneath. So once that prospect goes through the whole process and they click on this get started button, if they do, it's going to come over to the Kyani page, again with the startup packs on it, but it's automatically behind the scenes carrying my link ID from this button to the next page. And you notice my picture's here. So I'm the sponsor in this case, and it's got my contact information. That's how you know the system knows who you are, but it also carries your ID number, so they go right into your holding tank when they sign up.
It's a brilliant system. In fact, I want to read you a comment from Mary Louise Zeller. She says, I don't have a question, I have a comment. In my 3 decades of MLM marketing, this is absolutely the most powerful system I have ever seen.
I really appreciate that, Mary Louise, and it was great to meet you in person. I totally respect how well you've built your organization, and you're not only a ninja in your martial arts, but I can't wait to see you really kick some rear end with this thing as well.
Another question here for you. Can you integrate the calendar with Google Calendars?
Not at this time. We've had people ask about that, and there is a standard calendaring format. My brilliant partner Todd has actually looked into that, but I don't have an answer for you tonight. If there's a way to do that, we will definitely try, because we've had a couple people ask about that. That way your calendar can be pushed to all your devices.
Okay, great. There's one more question, and I'll answer that one. Well, actually 2 in one statement. But also, I want to emphasize something, Scott, that you mentioned early in this presentation, and that is this tool is not a replacement for network marketing. It is an enhancement to filter out, to sort a list of people to work directly with that are interested in what we have to offer. Do you agree 100% with that statement?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what the system does. You will have times when they're automatic signups, and well, automatic meaning that you haven't even had time to get them on the phone yet. This works 24 hours a day, and you never know. You can wake up and get a text message sometimes. By the way, it does send you a text when you get a new rep, and you're surprised by that. But certainly at that point, you call them. But you call them way before that. When they first enter the system and you heard my cell phone go off, you know that they're a prospect now. And I usually wait at least 12 minutes to call them, because I know the video that they're watching right now is 12 minutes long. And then I take it back to traditional multi-level or network marketing. I call my prospect. Chances are there's somebody that I know anyway, because this is a warm market system. And I call up and say, hey, Steven, I see you just finished listening to the video. Wasn't that great? What questions can I answer for you? Well, the first thing you're going to say is, Scott, how did you know I just finished watching the video? I'm going to say, well, I got a text message on my phone. Well, how did that happen? Well, we have this great system at Kyani that makes prospecting easy. And I can tell you that your prospects will get excited because of the way that they were prospected, because they see it as an easy thing they could do as well. But from that point on, it goes back to traditional network marketing and relationship building. Yes, it's true. That prospect can turn around right now and start using this system because it's included in their startup pack. They'll have a login and they can start inviting 10 minutes later. But you should be on the phone with them, helping them and coaching them through how to do that. So it always, always goes back to traditional network marketing. And whether it's across the country or across the sea, it's still belly to belly. It's just on the telephone, and you need to build that relationship.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right, so the next question I'm going to address is how do we get it? Well, it's available in the back office right now. In fact, the leaders, while we met with them in Orlando, have asked that we extend the convention special beyond the convention, which we've accommodated so that we could do this webinar and give that special convention special out. So the convention special is 3 months of social is $99, but for the convention special, you get a total of 5, so 2 extra months included in that. If you go into your back office and go into your shopping cart, go under events, and under there will be that SKU there, that piece, so that you can sign up on that. That goes away at midnight tonight. So if you're interested in getting the convention special, jump right on and grab that one. We do also sell it in 2 other packages. One is a 6-month package for $169 and a 12-month package for $249. So those will be available ongoing. And there it is, right there.
Yeah, I was able to find it under convention and events. There it is.
Yeah, conventions and events. So that goes away at midnight tonight. So get out, reach out to your people, let them know that's available. Also, we had quite a few questions about people who were not able to get on the webinar tonight. How can they learn more about this? Scott has recorded this particular presentation, so we will make that available and probably have that up tomorrow. Is that correct, Scott? We could make that available probably tomorrow?
I can probably get it to you within the next 60 minutes if I hurry. So we may
You are
be able to get
brilliant.
something out tonight. Yeah.
We will get that out to the leaders and to the distributors at large tomorrow and make that available so people can see additional information about this. And we will have continuing ongoing education with this as well. Not only will you have the videos, but we're going to be sharing success stories. You know, things like you heard those who were at convention. Stefan Edefors, for example, one of the CEO Council members in Europe, the day after Christmas, he decided to send out a gift of opportunity of the product, and he sent the product video out to 12 possible prospects, and he now has 12 customers trying the Health Triangle Pack. So it's an amazing system. We have another gal in Hungary that generated 80 hot leads by using this system. You know, just every day sit down, put your 10, customize each individual email, and then follow the system. You know, follow the lights, follow the colors in your desktop there, your dashboard tracking system. This is a brilliant system, Scott. We're so privileged and grateful that you would choose us to share this amazing tool with. And we're definitely 100% behind you, and we're going to continue rolling forward with this.
Well, and it's my mission, Stephen, to help everyone grow their business by making the tool better, number one, but by continuing to teach how to use the tool and how to recreate the success that we've been able to use the tool for. So my wish is that everyone grows their business faster and more efficiently and only deals with interested prospects by eliminating the disinterested ones. And the experience that you'll have in recruiting will be so much more enjoyable. You won't even believe it.
Oh, what a great piece. What a great tool. This is amazing. This is really going to inject a lot of energy and success into the United States market. So, you know, we're really grateful for that. If there's some questions that weren't answered in the time that we've allowed for this webinar tonight, please feel free to email those into customer service, and those will be forwarded on to me, and we'll be able to reply to those. Customer service will be doing the customer support on this. They've already received some training and will continue to be trained and be able to support you out in the field with this new special tool. So with that, Scott, is there anything else that you'd like to add to this webinar?
No, that'll be it. Just stay tuned for an announcement on our next live training, and look for the recorded trainings in the back office shortly, as well as an email from tonight's recording.
Fantastic. Scott, thanks again for taking time tonight, and to each of you that joined us, thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing your success stories and all the lives that will change because of this great new tool. Have a great evening.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.